my name is Kat. Welcome to my channel. Today we're reviewing my Book of the Month subscription. Hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today's video is an overview on what's going on my Book of the Month subscription. I did one of these last year. I don't like too much how I ended up the format, but it's gonna give you an idea when I start the subscription, how many books I get, which books I get, what I think about it, which ones I didn't read, which ones I read, and all of that. So I will link that video either on a little thing over here, or I'm gonna link it down below. What we're going to do today is to see what I was on the 22, what happened on the 23, and we're going to review the books that I read and the books that I purchased this year. So let's start with the 2022. So until that time, I ended up having 16 boxes. I skipped 16 times. I have 4 books that there were add-ons, and it was a total of 20 books in my library. I ended up having 9 books that they are unread, 11 books I read them. I have 2 books that they were in the loved status according to the Book of the Month app, and the 9th of the left they were just okay level. So on the 2023 I ended up skipping 9 times. I ended up having only 3 boxes. On these 3 boxes, I have 4 books that they are add-ons. One is because it was January and I have like a free add-on because of my birthday month. And then the 3 rest I paid for it. So I ended up adding 7 books to my library on the 2023. I read this year only 4 books from the whole collection of the Book of the Month. I don't have any new love books, new love additions. And the 4 books that I read this year, they are in the okay level. So that gives us a total of, in my library, I ended up skipping 25 times. I ended up having 19 boxes sent to my home. From those 19 boxes, I add 8 books in total. And then I have total altogether, all the books, there are 27. From all of them, I ended up reading 15 books, and I still have 12 books unread. And that's what is changing. I used to have 2 in the love level, now I have only 1, and the rest are just okay. So we're gonna go back to that. Before going to that, no, actually we can go to that. So what happened here is I used to have 2 books that they were in the loved level. It was cast by Isabel Wilkerson, if I'm not saying wrong her name. It's a nonfiction. It teach me a lot of things. It was a very popular book. It was a pick for Oprah's book club. I really learned a lot of that book. It's a book that I highly recommend. The other one that I have it was Tell Me Everything. It's kind of like memoir mixed with fiction. This woman is following a story about some girl that is being raped, and she's doing like a investigation, and is a journalist, and that situation tricks some of her memories. Why is part of memoir? Because the author, I think it was a victim of a real sex assault. So all her experience, there's some way put it in the book. So it's a mix between her experience and a fictional characters to kind of deal with her situation, what happened to her, and what it was deal with that trauma. Why it was loved and suddenly dropped in. well, during all this time, and even when I made the last video, I realized that yeah, it's a very important story. It was well written, but suddenly I feel like the story go away from my mind. It didn't stay the way that's supposed to stay in my brain. Like I can't remember cast most of the time. I can remember what I like about it. On this one, I have to kind of double check again the synopsis to refresh my memory to see what it was about, like what the book was talking about and what happened, and kind of review what happened with the author and all of it. So that dropped it a little bit the love level to the it's a good book, but it's not anymore in the same level like Cast for me, because it is memorable but not that memorable. I need to refresh my memory to remember this specific book. So that's the reason it kind of dropped. So that's the note that I have in general. So that's the overview what happened since last time until now. So what we said, we read only 4 books this year, the 2023, this year, 2023. In my book of the month subscription or like the app, it says I read only 3. I don't know why. For some reason, it doesn't count one of the books, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a pick from very, very past years. Like, oh, I didn't add this book the same year. I added in a very past years, but the other ones, I don't understand why it's not picking up that one, but it's not adding to my challenge in the app for some reason. So let's start with that one actually, and is Once There Were Wolves. Okay, so this one is about this woman that she works in a special place where they trying to put the wolves back to the wild, and she has some traumas that happened to her and her sister, and she's dealing with it too. And it's the only book that I didn't like, sadly. From all the ones that I have from the Book of the Man, is the only one that is in the box that I didn't like it. First of all, because I was expecting to find a story that is about wolves and how they put back to the wild, and I didn't find that. And also those traumas and all of it, they were important topics, they were important like things to talk about, but I think she tried to talk too many things in a very, very short book, and she didn't resolve any of them in a good way. The ending, it was very disappointed. I didn't like how they treat the wolves. I didn't get the point to call once they were wolves when you don't even talk about them too much, or they are not the main point in the story. So all the way that it was handled, the story, and how they handled their personal issues and how they handled the wolves part, I didn't like it. So sadly, this one is a no like it book. Next one we have The Flicker in the Dark. This one, it was the first book I read this year, the 2023. And this is about this girl that she's been part of a crime, and suddenly that crime is kind of coming back to her and is hunting her, is kind of never let go. She's always have some traumas, and it's affecting her personal life, and she needs to resolve. She doesn't remember many things about the crime that happened when she was a child, and later some new crimes happen, and that is triggering again her memory and triggering again what happened in the past. And when you get to the middle, you kind of know what's going to happen, but I think it make a good entertainment story. You have a good time reading it, and it keep you intriguing and keep you like interesting to see what's going to happen. It's not the best thriller ever. I don't think it is, but it's not the worst either. It entertain you, and it's just a fun thriller to read. I would recommend it. Yeah, if you want to have a quick, because it's very fast paced, quick read, I think it's good. Next one I read, it was Independence. So this one, is a historical fiction. It's about these three sisters that they live during the partition in India, and the three of them, they have different characters, and the three of them, they went for different paths in their lives. And it was very nice story. I still remember how is the relationship between them. They have heart problems, the relationship between their family and other family that they were very close, and how the partition affect them and how the partition affect their plans. And I think it's a nice way to see a different aspect during the partition, because also shows you how some people in India from both sides, they were friends, and suddenly they they ended up being separated because of all the situation. But sometimes they trying to remember that they were friends once before, they fight together for their country, and now they're fighting to each other. So it was a good historical fiction. I like the three characters. I didn't like too much the ending. I didn't like how much, like, I feel like the ending, it was a little forced to end that way, and I didn't like that. But the rest of the story, it was good. It's super short, and I highly recommend it. I just the ending, I think it was like really really forced to end that way. It didn't need to be that kind of ending. It was just to make it more drama, I guess, for the story. But the rest of the story, it was good. Next one, it was Gods of Jay and Shadow. This one, I have a special review in the channel for this particular book, because it was a book that I chose for reading a book set in a different country, and this one is set in Mexico. What least is this Casopia is traveling around Mexico, and it's about this girl that she opened a trunk, and she met the god of death from the Maya culture, and both together they ended up going in a journey, and is the story follow what happened to them. I did like it. I find so many aspects about the patriarchal culture and the Catholic culture that they are very common in the Latin America culture, not just in Mexico. Very familiar. So for that aspect, I did like it. I think it's more for a younger audience. Like it's not it's a young adult, I think, um, more the target audience for this book. But I think it make her point. They show you some culture aspects that they are very interesting, and I do recommend it. And if you want to watch the special review that I have for this one, you can check it out. I'm gonna link it down below. So that one, it was another one that I read, and this one, it was a add-on, so it was not part of my selection. It was a add-on, the same like the Flicker in the Dark. It was the add-on in my January box, and the other two, I believe I already have them from boxes from the years before. So next, I have Jacqueline in Paris. At the time I'm doing this video, I still have 50 pages in. I'm still waiting for the audio from the library. I'm not 50 pages in. I'm actually 90 pages in. I'm still waiting for the library to drop audio so I can do the audio and the book together. I think that's the best way to do it, this one, because I cannot put make myself to pick it up on my own, and I want to finish it. It's not bad, like I said. It's about Jacqueline while she went to Paris to study, and what it was her life over there when she was younger before she married Kennedy. So it's interesting. It's historical fiction, and I really want to read it. It's just, I don't know, something is going on that I cannot pick it up. Either the audio drop soon in my library so I can go both together, reading like a mixed media thing, and I can get this one done. So this one is a book that is halfway through, not halfway through, some way through, and it was not one of the books that I get this year. It was part of my older boxes. Let's move on with the books that I get this year that I still unread. So totally this year we said we add a, let's double check here because I do have, yeah, so this year we have 3 boxes and we add 7 books. So from the 7 books that I bring to my library this year, I only read 2, and it's these 2. So I still have 5 more books unread from this year. Like we already checked the overall situation, but I have 5 books yet. The first one is Pieces of Her. This one, it was a add-on and it's a thriller. This one I believe it has a Netflix adaptation. I'm really interested to read one. It's kind of big. It has more than 400 pages. I just don't know why I'm picking it up. It's just about this woman that she has a daughter, and the daughter didn't know her past life, and something happened, and she finding her mom being something else besides what she already knew about her. So this one is really interesting. I really want to read it. It's gonna be almost a year that I have this book, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick it up anytime soon. That's very interesting for me to read. Another one that I get is Ink Blood Sisters. Sorry, Ink Blood Secret. Maybe I'm saying wrong. Ink Blood Sisters Scribe. This one, it was the June pick for the Book of the Month subscription, and it's a fantasy story. It's about these sisters, if I'm not mistaken, that they are guardians of this library, and they are both different, and they need to protect this library. And it's a fantasy story. Usually we don't see too much fantasy on Book of the Month. Most of the time they are thrillers or mysteries or romance or like regular fiction stories, but this time we have a fantasy. I'm still interested. It's about a library that they need to protect. So always libraries and books and all of that, books about books, they are like take my attention some way. The next one is Alice Hoffman, Invisible Hour. This is about this girl that she is somehow get to something connected to the leather escarlate, and that make it think that she needs to move out from her town because she is part of a cult, and she thinks that life is not for her anymore. And I have another book that is from the same author. That's the Book of Magic. That in my if my yeah my in my book haul I explained that it was funny because I didn't realize that the Book of Magic is the second book in the series, because I just read the beginning of the that it says the Owens family has been cursed in love for more than 300 years, but all of that is about to change. The novel begins in a library. So that's all I read about this book, and that's the reason I picked it up, but I didn't make a good research to see that this one is the second book in the series. So I'm planning to get the first one with the same with the Book of the Man. So that way, at least they're gonna be the same hardcover and same size. It's the same author, so these two are still in a to be read. It's not too long since I get them, so I think it's fine if I didn't read them yet. And then we have Starling House. So this one is, I think it's a fantasy. It's October 2023, and it's about this girl that she's trying to move out from her town and try to take her brother out of the town too. And the only way to do it is to work in this hotel that she can make the money and move out. But when she start working there, she start finding some strange things, like some secrets are coming out, and we follow the girl and what's going on in this house. This book is very popular. I saw it in a lot of places. I didn't pay attention what they're saying about, because I don't want them to either give me too much hope for it or give me too many bad reviews about it. But seems like people like it, so I may get it. Like I said, this one it was October, and the other ones they were not long ago too. And oh, this one it was a add-on, and I believe this one it was a add-on too. So that's all the books I have from the book of the month from this year. Sorry, Rapito decided to bark right on time when I'm about to finish the video. So all those are the books that I have for this year that I bring to my library from the book of the month subscription. I saw you at the beginning what's going on. I have a lot of books. I skip a lot of times this year, and it may happen next year too, because I really want to get through more of the books that I already have on my library from them read before I keep adding more. But if we think it overall, so I actually enjoy most of the books that I read from Book of the Month. They are not my favorites in any way. Like, no, I didn't find a big favorite besides Cast, but the other ones I have a good time reading them, so I'm gonna keep with the subscription. I like the option that I can always skip. Sometimes I need to get some books uh, that they have it in their collection, and I can get them in a good price, and it's a hardcovers. I like hardcovers. As the only disappointment so far has been this one. So I think overall I do enjoy the subscription. I don't need to get it every month, and when I don't get it every month, sometimes I add on, and I like to follow the challenge that they have. It's nice to see you getting some colors there, even if I don't read too many of the Book of the Month in general. So I think the subscription works for me, and I think I will keep going. I hope you like the video. I hope you get some good recommendations from the books that I read so far. And I hope you have an idea now how Book of the Month works, what books they have, how it's going, what's going on with the Book of the Month, if you are thinking to get the subscription for yourself. So I think that's all for today. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you want to know if I post another video, ring the campanita. And thank you for watching. Bye.